All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Frankie J. Raw. We have a good one for you today. I had to call in for backup forces today because my original guest had something personal pop up and she couldn't make it, which is okay. We'll catch up with her later. But actually, first best person after that is a good friend, mentor, adopted mother, and life coach, and that's Joann Perahia. She's been, oh my God, freaking dealing with me for almost a year and a half. I'm a nightmare. Let's put it that way. I'm a freaking nightmare. And she has turned things around for me just being her. So I wanted her to be able to share some of her stuff, what she does and what she's looking to do moving forward, and how she can help many of you all listening and checking this out from either Facebook, Instagram, or wherever it's available, YouTube. Thank you for all you guys too. And why don't I go ahead and bring her up? Joann, why don't you kind of come up on camera and let's get jamming because we only talked about 4 hours ago. All right, I'm sending you an invite. I forgot to send the invite. There you are. And then unmute your mic. I'll unmute you.
And you are not a nightmare. Hello, Frankie. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for jumping in last minute. I do appreciate that because I know everyone's busy. I know you're busy. So thank you for filling in. I'm sure Natasha
No problem.
appreciates it. She obviously doesn't feel good that she had to, but life happens. So, and thank you for being here.
Well, you're very welcome.
And I'm like, you know what? I owe my adopted mother some time, at least in front of my following here, my clan, the Frankie J. Raw clan, who stuck by me, especially Mark. He's here all the time. I love that robot guy. He's really, I like the name,
Yeah.
And my alter Frankie J. But why don't you tell people a little bit what you've been up to? Because first of all, let's go back to when you met me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk a little bit about that and take about 4 seconds of that time, months, and condense it into what we're doing right now, sitting on this platform with a fireplace.
Well, I guess Frankie and I met, and basically I help people find their purpose, and I'm a career assessment coach. And basically we transformed this young man into something here. I mean, he's not. He's very smart. You can teach him anything. He'll learn it. And it's really a good thing. So it's been a good journey. and I would say one of my top students. Well, because he absorbs and he does and he's smart.
Well,
That's
thank you for
Frankie J.
that. Hey, it only takes one to tell me, and I'm good. I think intelligence comes from just living. Really,
Well, I agree with you, and I'm going to have to step away and turn off my robot because
the
she's
robot.
making noise.
What?
What do you
Well,
think I
Joann
clean?
turns off her alter ego over here. She reminds me of the show, that series that was on United States of Terra, where she had like seven alters. It was like a comedy sort of drama thing. It was a good show. I think it was on Showtime or HBO, one of those. Definitely, I recommend that series. I binge watched it. It was really good. And
Which
then
one were
what
you
was it?
saying? I didn't hear that because my robot was making too much noise.
There was a series years ago that was on HBO or Showtime or one of those called The United States of Terra.
Oh, I
What
think I remember that.
her last name was Colette, is the actress, and very beautiful blonde woman, but she played a woman with multiple personalities, and it was real. She
Wow.
had seven
Wow.
alters when, or five or six alters when the show started, but by where it ended, she had like a couple new ones pop up that you were like, holy shit. It's
Wow.
real. It's a real illness, and that show it's so dynamic because they take a regular blue collar family, and his wife and their mother is got multiple personalities, and they live along with them.
Wow.
So if they know it's Sally Day, they go with how Sally is. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it's really interesting because it's real.
Wow.
My
That is
brother
interesting.
growing up needed 24/7 care, Joanne. He couldn't go to the
I
bathroom
know.
on his own.
Oh,
So to me, to see that and them to live around it, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Think about it. You don't know who's going
hard.
to be next. And some of them
No,
are bad.
we don't.
Yeah. Check it out though. But anyways,
Yeah.
back to what I wanted you to be able to do is I want you to tell people what you're doing and why you're doing it, the point in your life on why you decided to do it, and give yourself the floor. Tell people how you
Okay.
helped me, because I am totally endorsing you right from the start on what you're doing, and I know that you're really getting a lot of feedback on it, which is great. Let's get you as much as we can. I owe you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing.
Here we go. I mean, basically, this is sort of a passion of mine. It's been part of me for a very long time, or as we say, our purpose. And I'm trying to help people find their purpose because, according to Picasso, the meaning of life is to find your talents and gifts, and the purpose of life is to give them away. And
True.
we basically, human nature, I mean, think about it. How do you feel when you give a gift? You feel
I
terrific.
I love giving. I don't like receiving though. I'm
Oh,
funny.
well, that's another psychological issue
I'm the
that
dude that sits there with the gifts on my lap until somebody comes over and says, "Let me unwrap them for you." I like,
right,
oh, thank
right.
you,
Well,
and
that's
I
a
don't even.
whole other thing, but
Yeah.
the whole
So
thing of
what are the strings?
yeah, that's it. But the whole point is really it's kind of like saying, in order to really be happy in your job and in your career, the best way to find it out is to really find out what are your innate talents and gifts because we're all born with them. We are all born with them. Sometimes
Yeah.
we never recognize them. There are some
Nope.
people out there that know exactly. I mean, I know somebody who, at age of two, in second grade, knew she wanted to be a veterinarian. And right now she's in veterinary medical school. So some of us really know it, some of us don't. And then again, finding your purpose in the way that I do it, through purpose cards, through a self-directed search. It all is according to
Self-directed
John.
search.
What?
Explain that a little bit more to me. The
Okay,
self-directed search. I wanted to stop you there because that right away you're like, what is that? And some people will
okay.
be like, what? Explain how easy and how cool it
It
is.
it really is very easy and very cool, and it's based upon John Holland's 5 personality traits. And what it is it's a whole bunch of questions that you have to answer honestly. And it's
Yep.
really about what do you love to do? I don't care if it makes money. I don't care anything about it. It's really what do you love to do and what you're good at. We also are good at things that we don't love to do. So we have to know
Like
that
every job I've
distinction.
had. Every friggin' job I've had, I was good at it, and I hated every second of it. Like these son of a
Well, that
bitches are taking advantage of me now.
that's that's also another thing that we kind of go through. But the self-directed search then takes your personality types because they kind of accumulate within three, and so they take the top three. And these top threes, like if you're entrepreneurial, if you're enterprising, investigative, conventional, those three personality types are actually modeled to jobs. So you can see, well, wait a minute, what
Yeah,
should I be doing? And what can I do? And then it tells you what that job industry is like, what if it's a growing market, and then it goes right into like Indeed.com where you can find the jobs or look for them and see what's out there. It also helps you figure out, well, do I need to go to school? So but it really helps you figure out what you really like to do and where your personality traits are.
and then you
Um,
take that information, right, and try to implement it into a change in your life that goes in that direction.
you got it. We make a plan.
Well, yeah, that's what happened with me, and this
Yeah,
isn't like cult shit. This is real. Like,
I know.
I mean, there were times where I told you, if you want out, man, now's the time, and you stuck through it. But what you did, and I know I laugh about it, but if 90% of people that don't like me now would just give me that little bit of time to get to know me, I grow on you like a fungus
Oh, well, you do, and you
because
happen
I'm
to
not a
be
jerk.
really
I'm just
pretty wonderful.
realistic. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
and
I'm
uh, and that comes out. And again, let's go back to realistic and being honest. And
yeah,
that's the other thing. I mean, I could sit here and say I do purpose, but I also wrote a book, called The Unabashed Truths the Entertainment Industry Won't Tell You, a guide to the business of acting. And it can be applied to looking for a job, but it's back to that being honest. And,
yeah.
today, I'm not quite sure we all really want that honesty
Sometimes we want to
because,
hear what we think we should hear.
and sometimes we hear what we think we're hearing. We don't, we're not listening properly.
It's
I
like a
mean, I'm
horoscope.
guilty of
It,
it.
we make it work in the way we're talking about it.
That's
But
right.
for me, I know for a fact where I was downward spiraling, trying to do anything and everything, working with this person and that person. It was always a madhouse. And during that whole time, you were basically saying, focus on you, yourself, your ideas,
Yep.
and be in charge. And along with Stephen Kimbrough, he did partake in that that development of me learning to take the what do you call it, leveling up or whatever, like leveling
Leveling
up.
up.
What do you
Yeah. I
want to
mean,
do, and start doing it. um,
and that's what you really, and that's my whole purpose. My whole purpose is to have people really kind of focus on it. And part of it is your job too. Like I'm not going to be doing this for you. You've got to work at this. Just like anything that's good in life, you've got to work at. And I was just having a discussion about how, well, what happens when things come easy to you and or to a person? And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you should be doing. Again, it's back to what do you enjoy doing? I mean, I was in corporate America. I mean, I've done a lot of different careers. And when I was in
yeah,
corporate America as a software developer, I was always made a manager.
you were the floppy disk era where
Oh God, please punch cards.
one of the
Um,
computers is the size of a 35 laptops.
oh God, oh please. And guess what had happened is because, I finally took one of these decades later. I'm social, I'm enterprising, and I'm creative. Well, guess what comes up under those? And so, but I was taking those skills and using them, and managerial is definitely a skill, okay, that I'm not quite sure people can really learn. That's why I believe there are innate talents and gifts that we have. And I was a
Oh
good
God.
manager,
Well,
right?
well,
But
definitely you were able to handle me. Welcome, Jeff. Yeah, I still tell anybody and everybody if you want to use me as a reference. It's
Oh,
documented that
thanks.
this woman
Well,
worked miracles
don't
for
worry.
me.
You're going to be doing a video for me. Wait and see. Just
Hey,
you
welcome,
wait.
Graciela.
Against,
That's
oh, this
awesome.
girl.
So, all
Hello.
right. So you do offer this as a service now, and that's why I wanted to really talk about this because there are a lot of people that are in the situation I was in, and they're spinning circles and buying into this, buying into that, instead of organically hearing from somebody with experience that wants to help and not take. That's the difference.
Correct.
And by all means, how do people get a hold of you? I put your website and your
You,
email.
my,
Uh,
from my website, from my email, you can call me. My website has my telephone number. And usually I'll do about a 15-minute free consult and then we
Okay.
figure it out because ultimately I do this via Zoom. It's hard to do the purpose cards via Zoom. Um, so we do the self-directed search. We then analyze what your answers are. We also talk about how we're going to do the self-directed search first, because you've got, again, it's coming back to yourself, coming back to your true self, your heart.
Yeah.
What do I like? What am I good at? What don't I like? I mean, I'm good at a lot of things. I don't like them. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
And then they naturally come, and sometimes those innate abilities you don't really want, you know,
Well,
or
it's
you
kind of
don't.
like when I was in the restaurant business for it felt like I was going to be stuck forever. Um I always knew how to run the place better than the management, and I could have cut numbers in half because I have this like look down like an eagle at the whole situation, and I implement smarter, not harder. You know,
Right.
like I made
Oh,
almost
very.
60 with two people.
Yep. There you
More
go.
hands are a mess sometimes, and
that's that's so true. Sometimes adding bodies, that used to be a I have to divert you. That used to be a software development thing. We used to walk in and we weren't hitting our deadline, and the vice presidents would say, "Well, let's add more people." And I said, "It takes 9 months to birth the baby. If you have nine people, it's not going to take 1 month." So adding doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. Sometimes less is more.
less is more. And then once that one, I always thank you, Graciela. Um, I mean, amen, because there were times where I would tell people that I work for that finally got to see, wow, he can do it all on his own. So screw him, and he'll do it all on his own. Doesn't cost us,
Well,
right? So,
that you know what, we have the same. That was something I learned throughout my career also. I mean, remember, I was a paralegal, so that's why I'm good for helping people with their purpose, because I've done so many different things. And that doesn't mean that that's bad.
no,
But when I was working, anytime I worked as, let's say, an individual, or even not as an individual, the law firm I worked in, they had to replace me with three different people to do my one job. So I
yep,
hear you. And I've actually, unfortunately, have gotten people fired that I was doing their job when I was working part time on top of what I was doing. So
yeah,
it's not
hmm
necessarily, it's a good thing, but it's a good thing for your own business, because people take advantage. I had to learn, don't tell your boss you finished this yet. And it was
yep.
hard for me because I don't like being bored. That's another one of my personality traits.
Man, I always get a new job and I'll go through and I'll reinvent the job, getting everything done the way they want it done by the time everything is the way it's supposed to be, right? But I do it efficiently. And if you're working with somebody else who's been for 30 years doing it, like, why are you doing it this way? And you come in like that, you're a fireball, and people don't like that, and then they lay
No, they
more work
don't.
on you, and you find yourself in this like, wow, I was just trying to help everyone have an easier job, and you're all freaking killing on me here. That's okay. That's why I've always had like a 10 years or less with people jobs,
Well,
but with the highway I hung around for a while because everyone's mean and nasty anyways, so it's just kind of you blend in.
oh God. But that's interesting how you say that you lasted 10 years. And then again, my I guess what I want to teach people is that that's how my trajectory was. And then sometimes our trajectories don't go the way that they're supposed to. Life happens.
Yes.
Um, and what ended up happening was, yeah, I wanted to go to law school. I worked in a law firm, was a paralegal, had a job if I got into law school, but I, of course, don't test the greatest. I'm an A student. So I didn't get into the
Abacadabra.
law school. Right. I didn't get into the law schools that I wanted. So I went and I got a graduate degree thinking, okay, that'll help me. And then I found technology. And one of the reasons I picked it was because I'm dating myself during the punch card days and
Yeah.
during the big floppy disk days.
Hmm.
Um, Technology, if you only had a 2.5 year lifespan, it was okay. But, decades ago, it was not okay to move from job to job. That's the difference that is of today, too.
Now it's more
People,
appreciated because it shows that you got this ambition to go and change the world by changing every company you become part of or whatever, right?
yeah, no, 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 I didn't
So
hear
it's,
that. And that's because my alarm went off.
well,
But
yeah.
we were talking about how now uh, there's no such thing. People leave their jobs in 2 years and it's acceptable.
Yeah, you don't even have to fill out a resume anymore. Really. You just put
Yeah.
your last two jobs and it's like, well, there's my last two jobs.
Well, there you go. That's nobody wants to see, and that's also hard when I discuss with people who, because I do get retired, not retirees. I get people. Look, there's ageism. Let's not. We're not going to deny ageism exists. So that when I work with people who are in their late 50s, they're like, "Well, I look young. I'm this. I'm that," and I'm like, nobody cares what you did 30 years ago. They really are only interested in what you've done in the past 10 years. That's
Yeah,
it.
not only
Done.
that, but what do you do now? Like what do you do that's current? That's not dinosaur.
Well, what do I do that's.
No, no, no. I'm saying that's what
No,
people would ask. Like, well, what do you do now? Who cares about 30 years ago? We all see
that's
the,
right.
the dark side of the '90s show that's on. We
Yeah,
all know.
that's right. No, no, no.
Or
I mean, that's true. And that's how it is now.
mhm.
Nowadays you have these one page, beautiful resumes. You have video resumes.
Yeah,
So we're changing.
right.
Um,
We're changed.
yeah,
I
yeah, we've
mean,
changed.
we're
Yeah,
we're past Back to the Future too. I'm
yeah, we
just
are.
waiting on the damn hoverboard. I'll get one of those and try to break an ankle.
Me too.
I always wanted the Nike sneakers that would like they blow up. I was like,
Right,
man, I really
right.
want that self drying coat. I'm like,
Yep,
man, but the hoverboard was never real, and that still sucks. But so what I can say on everything you just said is you basically, and this is Frankie J language. You just tell them to shut up, listen, focus on this program that I know how to implement, and it'll turn around for you. Not
yep.
overnight, maybe not in 6 months, but
That's
you'll
right.
see a difference within the first few months, which
Yeah,
that's my story. Because I went from clowning around trying to do whichever show I could figure out to do with ever, to finally focusing on what I'm doing now and what I can control.
yep.
And where it goes from there is I don't know.
And again, we're all on a path. We'll figure it out. Everybody's circumstances are different, so they
Yeah.
have to be worked with or they have to be understood. And each person is different. So I don't do anything cookie cutter. The only thing cookie cutter is the actual that quote unquote test
Well,
and the
besides
purpose
that,
calls.
I don't want to say this or misrepresent what you do. You're almost like that therapist, but on the professional scale of there's boundaries here. Okay, I don't want to hear about your
Yes,
breakups and
right.
shit. I want to what
This
I
is
can.
what exactly. And again, I'm honest to a fault, which I'm not supposed to say. I should not be saying.
No, you should
Um,
because you were so honest with me that I'm like, wow, this woman's gonna help me, and you did,
yeah,
and
and
you
that
still
and
are.
that's oh well, but you help me too. So it really is again self-acknowledgement, and that's what you're good at. See, you're very good at your self-acknowledgement and
Well,
understanding
thank you.
yourself, and that's really the first key.
Oh
You
man,
know,
yeah.
you
Own
do,
your
and then that's
mistakes.
what. Well, you know what? We've all made mistakes. Mistakes are a fact of life. And you want to know something? If somebody tells me I've never made any mistakes, although, wait, let me hold back here.
Okay.
When people say to me, what mistakes have you made? I really haven't made any because I've learned from them. You know,
Yeah.
and a lot of life is circumstances. So, and it is our psychological background too, because again, some people really they're afraid. They're afraid to
Yeah.
succeed. They're not as much afraid of failure as they are of success, because you got to
And
keep it
that's
up.
that's toxic too, because I
Yes,
believed in that so long. I'm like, if I succeed at something, it's going to be taken from me. Because,
right. There you go.
understand,
Oh,
as
good
a
one.
kid, when you're getting gifts from people that love you and then they get mad at you and say, give me my stuff back,
Right.
you get
Yep.
to a point where you're in your 40s going, I don't want nothing from anybody. And
Right.
not
Right.
rudely, just I don't feel comfortable with it at all. But that's what makes people like me tough on even learning new skills from somebody that I'm still getting to know.
Well,
So there's that learning who each other is
yeah.
stage of this game. And truthfully, once you got me and understood me, it was wildfire after that because I started to understand more and focus. And it's like Danielson shit, like Karate Kid.
Yes.
I just didn't
Yep.
paint fences.
Right. Right. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
But it's a tough thing. I mean, I've had clients where like I would give them a plan and they would look at me like, I don't want to do that. Well, okay, fine, bye.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, exactly. Again, you've got to put in the work, and
You do. It's hard too.
it is hard. Who said life was going to be easy? That's the unfortunate thing. We're living in this entitled world where, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to do
And
that.
you
That's
do
why I
have to.
graduated. Yeah, you gotta work.
Yeah,
Gotta change your tire
you,
once in a while, right?
yep, you do. And it just, but we're not in that society yet. But here's my thing. If you really find out what your purpose is, and if you find out your talents and gifts and you give them away, and I don't mean you work for free, okay?
Yeah,
You mold them to whatever job is out there, or maybe even starting a business. You will feel better. And once we all start feeling better, maybe we'll be kinder to each other, because that really is the deep down. If I say the purpose is
yeah.
right now, we are so angry. And believe me, I'm in New
Well,
York City. So talk
give me a
about
little
anger.
credit because, for some reason, I'm a magnet for women from New York City, Queens, and
It's
you over where you are, and whatever freaking borough you're in. Um, you know,
about Queens.
I can handle the toughest of the tough. Okay, I'll
Right.
handle the woman
Yeah.
that goes in and body slams 10 people in a bar and not be
Yep.
afraid of
Well,
her. Okay,
there you go. So there must be something of this, New York, the New York,
shut the
um,
light. What do you mean? Turn the light off?
yeah.
Shut the light. She told me to shut the light. I'm like, what do you mean?
What is,
What are you saying to
yeah, I
me?
love, well, we don't speak English.
No, you don't. It's like anyways, I didn't say anything. But no, but what I think is great is that you have that ability and I will testify in front of a court with my hand on a whatever Bible and swear that you flipped me around and got me going in the right direction where I don't want to go light fires and beat people up now.
Well,
And really
you're a good one. So there you go. I mean, again, like I said, there were some people that I gave them the plan. They looked at me like I was nuts, and it was an easy plan. It was showing somebody how they could get into an industry they wanted to get into without having to pay for anything, and learning it. This was in
yeah.
technology, and you could actually learn to code and not even have a job at it, but there's open source stuff you can do. But this person just like looked at me, and you knew they didn't want to put in the legwork.
Yeah.
And that's that, again, that's the other part of it.
Well,
Um,
it sounds so basic, but sometimes just
it's not.
somebody being told you're making this difficult, like zip it, like mute their mic and make them listen. And if they listen, then like for me, I finally just started to listen. And once I listened, I'm like, mm-hmm, yep. And here I am looking like I'm in freaking New York City and I'm in Buffalo. Um, but hey, whatever. It
But it's
looks good. I like
hard.
it. Yeah, it's not easy work.
It's also hard hearing the truth.
Mhm.
The truth is really, the truth hurts.
Yeah, yeah, for some
And
people,
yeah,
sometimes the
for
truth
some
helps.
people. I mean, yes, the truth is really all I want. I just want to hear the truth. I don't care how unabashed you say it, you
Yeah,
know.
really.
And that really is, that's how you are. I mean, you're really very honest and to the
Well,
point.
thank you. So are you, to the
Thank
point.
you.
Brutally, like me. But we're almost out of time here, Joann. Real quick. So if anybody's interested in consulting with you and learning how you handle it, what your business is, getting through that testing and all that good stuff, and talking plans with them, they can get a hold of you through your website or send you an email, correct? And they'll see
You
everything on your
got it.
website.
Yep. And
Okay.
I like the email you used, or go to my website, because I like the email that you put up. And then on my website is my telephone number. That's really the best thing. I mean, unless you want me to say it out loud right now, in case
Well, if it's
anybody's
on your
interested.
website, that's fine.
It's on
We'll
my
just
website. That's good
there you
enough.
go. Yeah,
Well, I
and
thank
I
you.
endorse you. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. Thanks, everyone here at Graciela. I'm still thrilled about Graciela and coming. It was like her first show. She was on the trending menu. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, it was awesome. So we're all doing good, and you helped me because if you wouldn't have been there, Joanne, there were times where I was like, I'm
Oh,
ripping my studio down. I quit. But it's not about me. Sometimes if you're doing this, it's about everybody that you want to be part of it. So
yep.
it's one of those things. I definitely suggest getting a hold of Joanne. And we're out
Thank
of
you.
time here, folks. We're going to do a short show this week. Like I said, I wasn't prepared too much, but Joanne always makes it easy. She is my life coach, adopted mother, and friend all in one. That's a lot. So we thank you for being here. And Joanne,
And thank
thanks
you for
again.
having me.
I'd like to thank all my guests out there too. And let's go Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl.
Thank you,
All right,
Frankie.
everybody. We'll see you next week for our finale with Joe.